Hi, HR has many functions to handle. The core of these functions is performance management. If you can successfully manage the performance of all your employees and get them to contribute their best every day, every hour, every minute, you have already achieved a significant part not only of the business goals but also goals of the HR department. The HR function is a great function which ensures that business goals are achieved. And those who handle HR often unknowingly become demotivators rather than motivators. So we have to constantly watch out because human nature is such that when you do many good things, people appreciate at that point of time, but they may not remember. But one bad thing you do, one thing that they don't like, I think it is all the time referred back. That is how functions like HR run the risk of getting into disrepute in spite of the great work that they do. For example, one of the things that bring a lot of disrepute for HR is the way the forced distributions are used. India itself is a country of comparisons, and comparisons often are likely to upset many people. At the same time, it becomes difficult to live without comparisons. We have been promoting for many years performance on the basis of goal setting rather than on the basis of neighbors' goal setting and so on. It's difficult, but we are trying our best. For many years in the recent past, we have been promoting the importance of focusing on the performer, the individual. In the past, in managing performance, we gave a lot of ownership to appraisals, ratings, rewards, recognition, boss, company, KRAs, etc. In the past, some of them may have served the purpose, but over a period of time, we recognize that people are taken away from the intrinsic motivation of work. We should help people to enjoy the work itself. The work itself and its characteristics should be made as attractive enough so that we don't work because there are KRAs, we don't work because the boss is watching, we don't work because we want to get good rewards, recognition and so on. You work because you enjoy work. This problem exists even in best of the management schools where research is incentivized. When people do research in order to get an incentive, then it is not likely to be good research because you are now playing it for the audience. And who are the audience? Some journals which are termed as A-star journals, which very rarely people use. It's unfortunate, but that is the truth. We have given you a very good tool for improving and managing your performance management system. That tool is this particular book written by me and Nandini Chawla. It's just been brought out by Routledge, a global kind of an edition. This book contains with it last 50 and odd years of work we have done on performance management. The first version of this book was published as Performance Appraisal, Theory and Practice almost about 40 years back. After that, every 10 years we started upgrading and enlisting with the changes, meeting the challenges of the environment and so on. This current version of this book, Performance Management, if you have, there are 14 chapters in this book. Some of these chapters are very important. We should have some of the skills required to have this. The first chapter deals with an overview of performance itself and introduces to the process of performance management. The second chapter deals with how do you plan your performance. I think the most important thing to remember here is when you pay 10,000 rupees a month to an employee, the employee is costing 1 rupee a minute. A 15-minute tea break costs about 15 rupees, much more than the cost of the tea or coffee. The cost to the company is 15 rupees, but the opportunity cost normally is about 4 to 10 times. In oil industry, it is 10 times. In IT and finance, it is 4 times. That means a 15-minute tea break costs about not 15 rupees but 60 rupees, the opportunity cost. That means when you take a 15-minute tea break, you should be returning in spirit or whatever kind or whatever it is, 60 rupees. Breaks are important, breaks are necessary. It should rejuvenate you, it should help you, to acquire a number of things. But this entire equation is meant to say that time is money, time is talent, time wasted is talent wasted. That is the most important thing that is talked of in performance. So if you have to perform, you should be using every minute, every hour of your time and your life productively. That is why in defining and planning performance, we talk of what are some of the ways in which may we use KRAs, KPAs, tasks, targets, and so on. In the next chapter, we talk about building competencies. PMS is a great opportunity to build your capabilities, competencies, and post-pandemic capabilities, including I think qualities like empathy, gratitude, and continuous attitude to learn, restless learning, resilience. These have all become important. There are job-related competencies. You have to identify what are the job-related competencies, what are the company-related competencies, and include it as a part of the performance management. How to build these competencies and develop yourself. This is what is described in chapter 3 on defining and building competencies. The next chapter deals with performance analysis. Once you plan your performance and also plan the capabilities you want to exhibit, at the end of a term, maybe a quarter, a half yearly, or 1 year, you analyze your performance to identify what helped you to do what you have done and what prevented you from doing better. You can do it individually or do it with a team. Whatever is the way, the moment you record this, it gives you a phenomenal amount of understanding to improve your own performance. So the performance analysis, if done seriously, of a group of individuals every quarter or every half yearly period, collected by the HR department, can give rise to improving the performance of the company as a whole. I think one of the formulae discussed in this book is individual performance is a consequence of his or her competency, ability to perform the tasks. And number 2, interest in performing the task, motivation to perform the tasks. Number 3, support he or she gets from the organization, plus or minus chance factors. In performance analysis, when you do an analysis of work done in a particular period, you are able to identify what are the ability or competence factors that helped you or prevented you from doing better, what are the organizational factors that helped you or prevented you from doing better, what are the motivational factors, and what are the chance factors. When you compile all these for a team, for a department, or for a unit, you get a lot of insights into areas where the organization should improve its performance. So performance management is, while is the main job of every individual, it is also job of seniors to ensure and create conditions for good performance. So organizational support is very important. If you don't have communication of how organizational support is hindering performance of individuals, you will not be able to perform well. Therefore, the performance analysis done by individuals becomes a good input for seniors to identify and create conditions for better performance. That is what is discussed in chapter 4 of this. Chapter 5 deals with reducing biases. This is an age-old problem. It's a difficult kind of a question, but some insights are given in this on how do you reduce biases in ratings. I don't want to guarantee that by reading at the end of it your biases will be reduced, but it will at least give you insights and sensitizes you for better performance management. A most important part of performance management is continuously dialoguing with your juniors, colleagues, seniors, particularly if you are a senior manager, with your juniors, understanding their issues, understanding how well they are performing. It's very educative. When you discuss performance with your juniors, you get educated and you get to understand what kind of new roles that you have to play. That is why we think that performance conversations, while performance review discussions take place once in a quarter or once in a year or once in a 6 month period, performance conversations are all the time taking place. You can have a 2 minute conversation, 5 minute conversation around a problem, around a specific instance, around an idea, around improvement. I think these quite often don't have to be recorded. It can be casual, it can be, but I think if you recognize the importance of performance conversations, you will go a long way in improving performance. This is what is discussed in chapter 6. And of course, chapter 7 deals with using performance managed data for other kind of administrative decisions. In chapter 8, we present best practices in performance management. And chapter 9 adds a little more on managing rewards and recognition, again, best practices. In chapter 10, we present a perspective on creating an objective way of performance appraisal. This is an article which I wrote quite some time ago and published also in Vikalpa. We made further improvements on it. Lessons of experience, a new look at performance appraisals. The next two chapters deal with the role of 360-degree feedback in PMS and the role of assessment and development centers in PMS. The last two chapters in this book are particularly written with post-pandemic in mind. The chapter 13 deals with technology and performance management, with illustration from one of the banks of how they are using technology for managing performance. And also brings in a very interesting interview given by Satya Nadella, published in Harvard Business Review, talking about the future of work. When you go through this, I think new perspectives get developed. Work from home, work from anywhere, and other kind of things that are impacting performance in organizations are discussed in chapter 14. These two chapters give you glimpses of post-pandemic thoughts in performance management and how do you manage and what is the future of performance management. Friends, this book is a great resource that you have. But any book will become a resource only if you make it a resource. If you have to make it a resource, you have to read. And in days where I think we are accustomed to short messages, short videos, and so on, it might become a little strenuous for you to read. But you don't have to read everything one day. I think read the chapter. When you are doing KRAs, read on performance planning. When you want to have conversations, read on performance conversations. And when you want to look at 360-degree feedback, read on it. So this is a resource, great resource, and gives you quite a bit of conceptual background on performance management. I think this is the latest book. We have put our thoughts and heart and soul into this, and I hope you will also put your heart and soul into this, because you have this resource, and unless you read, assimilate, practice, try, you will not be able to get the best out of it. So we thank you for listening to this talk, and I hope you will sincerely go through this, enhance your conceptual understanding, and try to practice, and we welcome any sharing from you of your practices. You can write to tvrls@tvrao.com or tvrlsblr@gmail.com. All the best from TVRLS team for a great performance management experience.